All right. Yeah. Well, everybody, Linda Blair.
Actually, it's a little bit of vodka. Hey! So, hey everybody, how you doing?
Good.
Good. My name is Linda Blair. Many of you have come over to the table to visit and have shared your stories. Some of you have not yet gotten over there. We're going to keep this short and sweet so I can take care of everybody that's here because, well, people have a life and they want to go and visit many of the different celebrities and people and wonderful artists and events and things that are going on here. Isn't this an amazing show and festival?
Yeah!
I feel very lucky to have come back. Many of you may have found out about my animal rescue. We're going to talk about that in a minute. It is why, one of the reasons I am here as well is I do make appearances to come out to fundraise for the animals. We are in a crisis in America. I kind of stopped my career in order to make a difference, and I take it very seriously that my voice is needed in America to stop all of the needless deaths that are going on for the animals in the shelters, abandoned on the streets, and I would do my part, and it's a public foundation, so all of you are part of it. I am the voice, and I will continue to challenge everyone to make a difference so that the animals have a better life. But in the meantime, we're going to ask and talk a little bit. We're going to and let you ask a couple questions, and then I'm going to romp out of here. Your turn.
Okay, so I just wanted to, get some questions from anybody might have in the audience. If you raise your hand, we'll call on you.
Yes, sir.
Other than the bed scene, what was one of your more difficult scenes to do in Exorcist?
The whole movie was incredibly difficult, and I'll give you just a quick little run through. No one could ever have imagined making the film and using a 13-year-old. I was raised in New York City. I was a professional child actor. I did a lot of modeling commercials, and you take direction or you don't work. So when the interviews came along for the film, I was one of the first picks because I was just a normal-looking child. Little ponytails, very clean cut, not sickly looking, and that was very important to the director, Billy Friedkin, that the child be very normal. So upon getting the job, I asked all the same questions that everybody asks me today. How did the bed shaking? The room is very cold. How do I do this and how do I do that? And Billy Friedkin would say they're all special effects. So now we go into rehearsal. And in rehearsal, you're doing the dialogue, of course, but no special effects. As we start the film, they've started to make the dummy. So with Dick Smith, who's the most amazing makeup artist, of course, he's the grandfather of all makeup artists, he cast my entire body to make the dummy where the head turns. And with that, they did all the makeup tests, they got it so you could tell that it was me, it was not a complete mask. With the bed, the bedroom scenes where the bed is shaking, that's one bit of special effects. So it's manually manipulated by men. Now today they would do something different with computers. Just the contact lenses, all the equipment that was used for the vomiting, that took hours upon hours to put on the makeup, change makeups. And I still had to go to school. The language, the very bad language in the movie was written the night before some of the scenes and given to me by Billy Friedkin, who he'd hand me the piece of paper and say, this is for tomorrow. And I would read it and say, I can't say that. He'd say, yes, you can. Long story short, basically was going to get his way, and I knew that. So I had to do, nobody knew what was going to come out of my mouth because I wasn't going to tell anybody because I thought it was horrible. And so Max Foncito was very often shocked and had to stop and pull Billy Friedkin aside because the language is horrible. And so between the language, many of you may or may not know that in the scenes where I sit up and down in the bed very fast, they did actually fracture my lower spine. And so years later, it took a toll. And many of you may know I'm a vegan. Many of you may know how old I am. And many people ask why I'm so fit. Well, what I did is I had to find out more about food, how it affected my body. I had a lot of pain. I went to a lot of doctors. Nobody could help me. Sports medicine, chiropractors are the ones that put me back together. I had another accident in another movie, Ruckus, with Ben Johnson, Richard Farnsworth, where we flipped a motorcycle on top of me. So my body has taken a lot of hits, like a football player. So I have the best sports medicine, chiropractors, I do neurological work on my body. It's called neuromuscular, so you're working neurologically and muscular. I can tell you a lot. I've written a book called Going Vegan. It talks a lot about how you can help yourselves and about the food and the truths with all of that. And so in fracturing my lower spine, it did take a toll on me. I did have scoliosis. I still fight it all the time. But I am a very determined person. I work very hard with the dogs. I work mostly with what's called a bully breed dog, which is the pit bulls and Staffordshires, very strong. And I am the head trainer after 14 years. It's, it's years and years of experience. So I work with the dogs, and that's why I look like this. And anybody can participate, volunteer in your communities, and get a good little workout. So the most difficult is really the entire movie. It was very difficult to make. And then there's a lot of emotional scars that go with it. But I'm fortunate that I found strength. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And I respect all religions and what people think. And it's just that as long as we're good to each other, and that's right now what has been the hardest thing. I don't think everybody is good to each other. And maybe this time we'll pull more people together so that we can make America, again, the strongest country in the world. But it does come from being compassionate. And it's compassionate to your neighbor. If you don't understand them, try harder, because they're your neighbor. To an animal, to the elderly, to children. You can lend a helping hand, and I'll tell you what, it'll heal your heart, it'll heal depression, it'll heal everything, because you'll realize others have it harder. There's always somebody that has it worse than you. So the movie taught me a lot, and I use it as a platform to speak out for my animal welfare issues, for compassion issues, environmental, everything that I'm all about. So I do use the movie. It's a twofold.